What's up, family? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support you guys have shown me. Like, honestly, it's crazy. From commenting, sharing, liking, you guys are the best. That means more than you can imagine. But as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm doing something different today. Okay? I'm doing a story time on my dad and our relationship. Today, we're going to be discussing the hardest thing I had to learn from him. Because of this, it shaped me for the better and it's also shaped me for the worse, right? I had to learn this that yes, this lesson is harmful, but at the same time it's helpful. So let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about how it took me 21 years. 21 years to learn it. I know you're like, why did it take you so long? It's not that hard. But for me, I'm sensitive, I'm emotional, and I want to see the best in people. Like I'm constantly believing that people can change, people can develop, they can grow because I've grown, I've changed, right? So the lesson was stop listening to people's words and start believing their actions. Even that right there makes you want to go, why would you be teaching that to a child? That's what I want to know. So a little backstory, right? My parents have been divorced since I was a little kid, and they had shared custody, going back and forth. And that's also one of the hardest things to deal with, especially when they're acting like kids and you have to act like the adult. Okay, so, anyways, he would always tell me things like, on Tuesday, I'm coming to get you, and I'm going to take you to the park and we're going to have a blast. So, as a kid, I'm excited. I'm outside, I'm packed, I'm ready. I have my book bag, my toys. And then I waited and I waited. I waited some more until my mom forced me to come back in because it was dark outside. He proceeded to, dog him out for lack of communication and whatever, but that never stopped me. That was my dad. I was a daddy's girl. And then it was time for school. And he told me, I'm going to buy you those new shoes. I've been waiting all year for them, so I'm excited. Did that ever happen? Of course not. Over time, it kept going. Birthdays, summer trips. I was constantly getting let down, frustrated and sad, angry at the fact that I kept believing his words and he never followed through. I'm sure there are millions of other girls experiencing the same thing. And mind you, he wasn't an absent father. He was just a liar in that sense. And after a while, I didn't want to hear what he had to say. I basically lost all respect because if you can't keep your word, how can I trust you? Right? And especially as a young girl, I began to pull back. And even as a teenager, we would only talk about surface level stuff. And he would ask me, why don't you open up to me? In my head, I'm like, all you're going to do is say you're going to be there for me and never show up. Because that's what you've done all my life. It stung. Then I grew up some more and eventually I told him, like, you were my first heartbreak, Dad. He told me how. I was just trying to teach you a lesson. But at what cost? Make sure that as a parent, if you're watching this, you're not putting your own wants over your kids' needs, right? Because I needed a father figure. I needed someone that was present and trustworthy. I needed to have someone I could depend on, someone that would show up like they said they would. I needed true love from a man, and I needed a good example. He did not set that for me. After that conversation, probably around 16 or so, it definitely got better. I could see he was making more of an effort, and I started to get hopeful all over again, right? Until my 21st birthday. That's why it took 21 years to learn it, because after this, there was no going back. So he flew in from England as a birthday gift, right? Yes, my dad is British. Woo! So I was planning a birthday dinner. I was in college at the time. And of course, it was my day, but it was his moment to prove himself, prove me wrong after all these years, right? So being the optimist that I am, I told all my friends in college about him. I invited him to the dinner. I hyped up his British accent and I was like, he might even bring you some British treats because that's how good they are. I was just full of joy. I sent him the information way in advance, reservation, date, time. I was at Boca Raton at the time because I went to Florida Atlantic University and he was in Fort Lauderdale, probably roughly around 35-minute drive or so, right? He said he would come and I had everything planned out. It was the day of and I didn't think anything of it, right? I spoke to him that morning because he sang me happy birthday. And then the night comes. Everyone was on time except him. I found myself turning back into that little girl again, waiting outside for her dad to show up, just to keep his word for once. No call, no text, no voicemail. I tried to make excuses like, maybe it's traffic, maybe he got into an accident. But then I stopped. I stopped listening to my heart and I had to start listening to my head. I realized at that moment that this is what he was trying to teach me. It wasn't until the next day that he told me he forgot and I could come to him to just pick up my gift. It hurt. I didn't agree with how he did it, but I understand what he was preparing me for. Because now that I'm in the real world, that's all I experience. I just wish it never had to come from my own father. But it is what it is, you know? The funny thing is that I still expected the best in people after that. I never gave them grace, mercy, or second chances, but, you know, it's kind of contradictory. But I was hurt. And they always say that hurt people hurt people. And I did that for years until I just didn't want to hurt no more. I caught myself doing the same exact thing, saying one thing and doing another, lying, manipulating, all of those qualities that I hated about him, I eventually became. So if there's anything that you take away from this, I want you to know, like, you can heal from those who did you wrong. You also have the power to forgive them. I lost so many years and ruined so many great relationships because I was just projecting my pain. It caused me to be inconsistent and treat people wrong. The goal isn't to become your parents, but to be better than them. People are going to disappoint you, but you get to choose how you react and move forward to it. Stop trying to see what you want to see in others and see what they're showing you. What are their actions saying? Because I promise you it's loud and clear. There's yellow flags, orange flags, and red flags. Thankfully, it didn't take me another 21 years to forgive him and forgive myself. I hope my story was able to help you on your journey of healing and self-development. And I also wanted to give you more insight on my upbringing so you have a better understanding of who I am as a speaker. If you guys want more story times like this, comment down below. Just let me know. And please make sure you subscribe for the next video, okay? I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much.